because they're just panicking at every given moment. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Have you been doing the demon pose things for Halloween? Good.
We got one more
Good.
today.
Good.
What's the date today? 29.
Do you need anything in particular today?
2 blocks, a blanket, strap, and therapy balls. So all the good stuff, the whole combo. Two, 6. Hi, how are you? Good. Hi. Hello. So bright. Hi. How are you? Good. Okay. We'll start in another minute. There's a few more folks trickling in, but take your time to grab all of the props. We'll use a little bit of everything. 2 blocks, blanket, strap, therapy balls. And I don't have an agenda with the bolsters, but if you'd like to grab one, you're more than welcome to grab one. A nice little cushion towards the middle or the end. 1, 2. I know it's already dark now, but we also know that daylight savings is next Monday or Sunday. Perfect timing. It's going to be dark at 4, which is, it happens every year, and every single year I forget. So I looked at my calendar and I thought I would gently remind everyone else that it's coming, it's happening. We're back, so anything you need to prepare. For those of you guys that are new to me or new to this class, my name is Anisha. Thank you so much for coming. The way that class will be today is that I'll be practicing from the mat so that folks at home have a visual, but if you have any questions or need to call me over for anything, please feel free to interrupt, and I'm more than happy to leave this territory and walk around. But excited to be here. I will also be teaching next Tuesday. So if you're around and you need some distraction or need to move your body and breathe, in the evening, I will be here whether you are here or not. So would love to see you. All right, so today it's the last day of October, last Tuesday of October, and for the whole month of October, I've been sharing some stories of the goddess because her holiday started at the beginning of the month. It was the 9-night and 9-day celebration of this divine feminine energy that really does surround all of us. And each one of the nights represents a different avatar or a different version of the same energetic form. And so today, I brought it yesterday and I kept it in my bag. I finally brought a comic book that I heard a lot of these stories growing up. And my sweet, sweet parents, they were like, we want you to know, but we just don't have time to tell you. So we'll take you to the Indian grocery store and buy you all of the comics so that you can read them and learn them. And I found this one in the back recesses of the bookshelf, so decided to bring it. For those that can't see, it's called The Churning of the Ocean. And it'll relate to our practice as we move through today. So in Sanskrit, the churning of the ocean means samudra mandhan. Samudra meaning the ocean, mandhan meaning this like great oceanic force. And it's a story that every time I read it, every time I tell it, there's new little tidbits that are gleaned from the story itself. So if you've heard it before, welcome. If you've never heard it, also welcome. But the beauty of these stories is that you gain something different depending on where you're seated in the room, what time of day you're hearing it, what time of life you're hearing it in, even though it's the same tale told in different forms. So this one starts off, once upon a time, many, many, many moons ago, there were the two main characters of the stories. There were the Devas, the one that walk in the light, and there were the Asuras, the one that walk in the darkness. And what ended up happening is the Devas, the one that walk in the light, they started to lose their power. They were cursed by one of the great sages, and as a result, they weren't able to do what their daily tasks were. And Devas are responsible, the ones that walk in the light, they were responsible for essentially how the earth operated. They were the ones that were there ensuring that the sun rose every morning, that the sun set, that the oceans ebbed and flowed, that seasons came and went as they were supposed to. And so when they started to lose their power, the moral order of the world started to collapse. Things were just not going well. All of the plants and herbs were slowly disintegrating. Nothing was going correctly. And they found out from one of the great gods of yoga, Vishnu, he was the god of preservation. He's the one that keeps the universe in the order that we know it. He said, the way that you'll be able to find your strength again is that at the very bottom of this milky ocean, there's a nectar. There's an incredible nectar that will heal you, that will save the world as we know it. And so they say, okay, but we're not strong enough to be able to go to the bottom of the ocean. What are we supposed to do? And he says, unfortunately, you have to start to work with the ones that walk in the darkness, the asuras, and the combination of all of you, you have to start to create this churning of the ocean so that you can find the nectar. But Asterix is right next to the nectar exists an incredible poison that once the ocean begins to churn, not just the nectar gets revealed, but this poison will also emerge from the water itself. And you got to find a way to figure that out. And so they say, okay, we've been told that the way to churn the ocean itself, and just stay with me for a moment, it gets a little nuts and out of this world, but I promise it's going to come back to a point. But they say the only way that we can churn the giant vastness of the ocean is we have to take a mountain. We have to find one of these significant mountains, take it from its perch, and bring it into the body of the ocean. And then we have to tie the giant snake around it and almost play a game of tug of war, where the ones that are standing in the light are on one side, the ones that are in the darkness are on the other. And the only way they'll be able to churn is if they push and pull in opposition. And so they get to the task. They're starting to churn. And then the problem is the mountain's so heavy it starts to sink. And so Vishnu, this is what I mean, stay with me for a moment, he transforms into the avatar of a giant tortoise, into a giant turtle. And he crawls underneath the ocean, puts the mountain on his back, and rises so that it doesn't sink, so that they can really start to churn and let the ocean begin to move. And now what happens is as the ocean is churning, they start to come to the bottom where they see things that they've never seen before. There's a story that says there's 14 jewels and new knowledges that emerge from the base of the ocean that have never been seen. And they all get divvied up to each one of the characters. But at the very bottom of the ocean emerges the poison, and very quickly it starts to come into the air and destroy everything that it touches. And so Shiva, the great destroyer, the one that comes to communities, to universes, to worlds, to destroy in order to create new life, he takes the poison and he drinks it, he consumes it, and it doesn't affect him because he has the ability to digest what's happening. And so after the poison gets digested, they find the nectar. And for the sake of, I know it's only 75 minutes today, but I want to tell you the whole thing, but for the sake of ending the story where I want to end it, the nectar gets divvied up to all those that are walking in the light, and order gets restored in the world that we live in. The tangent is on the cover of the picture, is the picture of a goddess, and this is Vishnu, the male form, the god of preservation, who has transformed into Mohini, the version of the seductress. And he's taking, he, she, they are taking the poison, or taking the nectar, and giving it to the ones that walk in the light, and kind of smirking at the devas, the ones that walk in the darkness, to be like, I'm gonna give it to you in a second, but not actually giving it to them. So there's an act of sorcery and trickery in order to try and get the nectar to who it needs to go. Okay, the end. That's why am I telling you this story? We're gonna move towards a series of poses and get deep into the hips and find lots of openings through the hips and work our way towards variation of pigeon pose. And historically, in the yoga canon, hips hold a lot of wisdom. They hold a lot of information. You may know that your hips work in one way. You may know that they have limitations, they have flexibility, but they also hold so much more than meets the eye. And it is a true metaphor of the churning of the ocean. When you create space within the hips, it starts to move up and down the chain. And the reminder is that not always does good come up. Not always do you find the nectar. Sometimes the metaphorical poison emerges as well. And the question is, how do you not let this metaphorical poison defeat you, consume you? How do you find ways around it to modify, to create space where there might not have been space, and to really be able to find the full fluency of your breath? Because regardless of where we go, that thread of your breath is what's going to keep you connected to yourself. So big in the hips, we're gonna do it lying on our backs, on the knees, arms overhead in every other direction. But knowing that's where we're going, any requests, any things that your body is needing in particular, any poses, I have an agenda, but very happy to weave in any extra requests that you have. We're also gonna do a long shavasana and lie down for a while. Okay, well, as always, if requests come up, modify, spectate, let me know. I always love to do charades too. You can point to parts of your body and I can understand what that means, but take breaks as needed. We'll see where it takes us. The churning of the milky ocean, see what reveals. So when you're ready, let's start lying on your backs if you wouldn't mind. Can you have your heads up towards me, your feet towards the wall behind you? Don't need any of your props close by, but if you'd like to have them, you can. But come to lie on your back in any way, shape, or form. Meaning you can have your arms and legs out long in that more traditional shavasana shape. If you're feeling anything this evening in your hips or in your low back, it doesn't necessarily make the tenderness go away, but to create space, you might bend your knees, bring your feet as wide as your mat, and knock your knees into one another so that the weight of your legs supports the other. And as your arms fall anywhere they fall, let your eyes be softly open or softly closed so you can listen for your breath. When we close our eyes, It gives us a moment to see ourselves more clearly than before. To see every version of you that's existed from before until now. So as you take this time to notice your breath, can you let each soft and quiet breath gently dissolve the day and afternoon that was? Each breath lets you arrive to where you are now. And each breath that comes after makes a little bit more space for what has yet to come. So as you let the steadiness of your breath begin to slowly deepen, take a breath from your nose down into your belly and then up into your heart. And as you exhale, offer the breath out through every direction of your being, from front to back, side to side, and top to bottom. Continue with a few more of those breaths, just at your pace, letting each inhale move in, down, and wide. And each exhale offers itself out through every fiber of your being. This practice, first and foremost, it's an offering to your breath. That breath that surrounds, that connects and informs every single thing that you do. So as we start our practice and our time here together with 3 more rounds of that breath, wait for your next inhale as it fills you up completely. And exhale to let all of that breath go. 2 more times on your own. At the bottom of your breath, pause for a moment. Take notice of any difference that comes when you listen for and really remember your breath. And now, keeping that attention as best as you can, gently blink your eyes open, bend your knees, and bring both feet onto the floor if they're not already. For figure 4 on your back, cross your right ankle over your left thigh as you flex the right foot. And you might stay here. We'll do this a few times in class today. So maybe the left foot stays down on the ground, or you might lift your left foot up off the floor and thread the needle, bringing your hands behind your left thigh. As you flex through both feet, shrug your shoulders to your ears and wiggle the shoulder blades towards each other so the upper back really softens to the ground. And now take a big breath in and down. Stay for your exhale. Can you feel the right thigh move away from your belly towards the back of the room? Now keep the interlace of your legs. Just release your hands from behind your left thigh as you lower your left foot down onto the floor. And for a twist, drop both legs over to the left-hand side. Your outer left thigh might touch the floor. Some part of your right foot might tap the ground. But as you let the legs get heavy to the left, you might reach your arms out to a T or overhead, letting that right shoulder get heavier to the earth itself. Take a long breath in and a deeper breath out through every direction. Now on your next inhalation, uncross, unwind your legs and draw your feet back through center. As we come to the other side, cross your left ankle over your right thigh. And now hips are very different, so this side it might feel better to keep that right foot down. Or you might interlace your hands behind your right thigh as you lift your right foot up off the earth. Flex through both feet to steady the ankles and the knees. And as you shrug both shoulders to the ears, wiggle the shoulder blades together and gently press the back of your head into the earth. Feel all those points of connection beneath you. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale as you offer that breath out. And now the legs stay crossed as you release your hands from behind your right thigh, lower the right foot to the floor, and let gravity allow for both legs to drop to the right for a twist on your back. Your arms can stay on you. They can reach out to the sides like wings. They might reach up overhead. But as the outer right thigh and some part of your left foot taps the earth, take a longer breath in and a full deep breath out. And now on your next inhale, uncross your legs, draw your knees and feet through center as you give them a hug in towards your chest. Make any small circles in one or the other direction. You might lean ever so slightly from side to side or stay still. But take notice of all of those points of view touching the floor, the back of your head, parts of your upper back, parts of your hips. And now the next place we'll come to is we'll meet in tabletop, facing the front of your mat. So however you'd like to come off your back, you can roll over to one side or back and forth like a tortoise and come back to table. You might have your blocks framing out the front of your mat. You might use them as we start to move about. But as you bring your hands wide, spread your fingers, let your toes be tucked behind you, take your time to start to round and arch your spine with your breath, linking movement and breath together. Let's go for 5 or 6 breaths, just moving on your own. Feel free to stay more rounded or arched for a few extra cycles. You might start to move more forward and back, your hips towards your heels and shoulders forward of the wrists. But take this time to move in ways that you're not just moving your body, but feeling how your breath and body can harmonize together to create even more space. Take one more long inhale in, let it fill you up, and exhale to let all of that breath go. Now make your way back to table, come to your neutral spine. Walk your hands a handprint forward of your shoulders. Bring your knees back behind your hips. And with your toes tucked under, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take as much time and as many breaths as you'd like to find your way there. In your down dog, maybe it's stillness is what you need. You might pedal your heels slowly from side to side. Or you might soften and straighten your legs at the same time. But take a longer breath in and a deeper breath out through every direction of you. Now at the bottom of your breath, lift your heels, tiny bend in your knees as you look forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk your feet up towards your hands to come into your forward fold. You might bring your hands high up on blocks out in front of your feet. Maybe you widen your feet an inch or two, or even soften your knees, all in service of giving your low back and hips some extra space. But as you bow in towards yourself, take a longer breath in and a full, steady breath out. Now hands climb up to your hips, stand through your legs, and a big inhale to come all the way up to rise as you release your hands. With your feet under your hips, take an inhale to reach the arms forward and up to get tall. And on your exhale, soften your knees as you fold over your legs. Inhale to come up halfway to lengthen, hands to shins or blocks as you reach your chest forward. And exhale to step it back to plank pose, the top of your push-up. Knees can be up or down, but feel your legs back behind you, and without moving them, can you hug your legs towards each other as if they could become one? And now keep that as you reach your tush, your tailbone towards your heels. Now slide your heart forward. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, bend your elbows to lower all the way down to your belly. Wait for the inhale to rise for cobra or baby cobra as you lift up through the chest. And on your exhale, take it back to downward facing dog or table or puppy pose for 3 steady breaths. That churning of the ocean. Yes, it's a mythological story, a story told in service of finding greater truths. But it's also symbolic of our interior landscape. There's so much more to us than meets the eye. And as we churn the ocean, things become revealed to us that we may not have seen before. So as you come in here for your second down dog, take notice of any new sensations you feel. Maybe it's just remembering your breath a second sooner than I suggest. But when you find your next exhale, lift the heels, soften your knees, look forward, and come forward to the top of your mat, your standing forward fold. Inhale to come up halfway to lengthen, grow longer through your spine. And as you exhale, fold and bow in. Take a full breath in to rise. Stand through the legs, reach up, get taller. And exhale to let the hands come down by your sides. One more time, really follow your breath more than my voice. As you inhale, the arms go up. On your exhale, soften your knees to fold. Take the entire breath to come up halfway, grow longer through your spine. And exhale to step it back to plank pose. Hug the legs towards each other. Think heart forward as you take a big breath in. And on your exhale, bend your elbows to lower all the way down. Drink your inhale in as you rise, cobra. Hug the shoulder blades towards one another. And on your exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. In your down dog, without moving your hands, can you hug your palms towards each other from right to left? Feel that energy run up from the ground to the space between your shoulder blades. And now from there, push your arms down and forward to lift your hips up and back to the wall behind you. Take a big breath in and a longer breath out. And now lift your heels, soften your knees, peek forward, and come forward to the top of your mat. Inhale to come up halfway to lengthen, grow longer through your spine. And as you keep that length, exhale to fold and bow in. Take a breath to rise, stand through the legs, reach up, touch the sky. And exhale to let the hands come down by your sides. With your feet under your hips, let's come in for a side stretch. Reach the arms forward and up. Grab your right wrist. Grow 1 inch taller and tip to the left for standing crescent. As you reach up and over to the left-hand side, notice if that left hip and left shoulder are reaching more to the back of your mat. Can you let the left hip point more to the front of the room? The left shoulder point more to the top of your mat, but then slide the ears back to lift your chin. Inhale to come all the way up through center. Take a breath as you switch the wrists, grow 1 inch taller, and then tip to the right for standing crescent. Notice what you feel here in that left side waist. The right hip more forward, the right shoulder forward. And as you slide the ears back, maybe the arms come back in line with your ears. Inhale to bring it all the way back up. Touch the sky, get taller than before. And on your exhale, fold and bow in. Keep your right foot forward, step your left foot all the way back to catch your lunge. And now bring your hands up onto fingertips or blocks on either side of that right foot. Wiggle the left toes back another inch or two so you get longer in your stance. And now really lift up through that back thigh and the back heel. With your left hand down on the floor or on a block, reach your right arm straight ahead towards the wall in front of you. And as you stretch forward through your right fingertips, can you tack the right hip back towards the back of your mat? Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, let's twist open to the right, a big circle. Twice more, reach the right arm back and then forward. Big breath in. And on your exhale, take your time to revolve. The next time, the third time you twist open to the right, stay there for a breath. Can you lift the back thigh higher up off the floor, tack your right hip back, and then lean back against the steadiness that you've created. Big breath in. Stay for the exhale and bend 1 more inch into that right thigh as you lift your left thigh higher to the sky. And now inhale to unwind, lower the hands, take all the hops you need to step it forward, back into your forward fold. Inhale to come up halfway to lengthen. And on your exhale, fold and bow in. Second side, left foot forward. Step your right foot back to catch your lunge. And with your hands up on fingertips or blocks, reach forward through the left hand towards the front of the room. Now notice if that back thigh wants to dip. Can you lift the back thigh higher? Lift the back heel higher. And now wrap your left hip back as you take a big breath in. And on your exhale, revolve, turn to the left. Twice more with your breath as you inhale, churn, reach the left arm forward. Big exhales to spin open to the left. Notice what the shoulder, the wrist, the hip, and even the torso feels like. And now the next time you turn to the left, stay for a breath. Lift the back thigh higher. Wrap your left hip back. And can you slide the ears back to lean back against yourself? Big breath in. Stay for the exhale, bend into that left thigh. And then inhale to unwind, lower the hands. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Take your time to find your way there. Pedal the heels from side to side. Notice any difference. And now inhale through to plank pose. Find the top of your push-up. As you exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Wait for the breath in to rise. For cobra, lift up through the heart. And on your exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. In your down dog, take a full breath in through the nose. A longer breath out through every direction and fiber of you. And now on your next inhale, float the right leg up and back. Bend the right knee and open up through the right hip like you could foot high five your friend to the left. As you stack your right hip on top of your left, take notice if the left side of you is dipping down to compensate. Can you push your left palm down, lift your left shoulder away from the ground, and now tack your left hip back as you let your left heel, the one that's on the floor, get heavier to the ground. Check out what you're feeling in there. Now inhale to square the hips back off. Look between your hands and step it through to lunge. Spin your back heel to the floor. And on your inhale, rise, warrior two, facing the long edge of your mat. Good, keep the right knee and toes pointing straight ahead. And now walk your left foot back just an inch or two to the back of your mat. As you look away from the ground, reach out through the arms, take a big breath in. And on your exhale, bend into that front thigh as you grow taller through the crown of your head. Now the legs stay steady. As you inhale, just reach the arms up. Bend your right elbow, pat yourself on the back, and let the left fingertips grab onto the elbow. Think elbow up towards the ceiling, and then gently press your head back to lift your chin. Can you slide the ribs back as you press your head back? Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Think elbow to the sky as you bend into that right thigh. And now inhale to release those arms to a T. Press the right leg straight. Get longer in every direction. Trikonasana, right hand to your block or to the floor on the outside of the right leg for today. So once the right hand comes to somewhere to the outside of the right leg, feel both feet against the earth. And now give them a hug in towards each other. Pull the right foot back, hug the left foot forward so you feel that energy run up the ground into your legs. And now as you push straight down into your right hand, reach the left arm one more inch as if you could touch the skylights overhead. Take a deeper breath in. Stay for the exhale. Can you lean back against the steadiness you've created? And now on your inhale, look to the earth. Bring your hands to the ground. Bend your right knee and step it back to downward facing dog. Take notice of what you feel and see. Pedal the heels one at a time. And can you see any difference from one leg to the other? Now on your next breath, float the left leg up and back. Bend the knee, open up through the hip, like you could foot high five the wall or your friend to the right. Now as you push down through your right palm, lift the right shoulder high away from the earth. Can you tack your right hip back towards the wall behind you? And now let your right heel get heavier to the ground. See what bubbles up in there in the bottom right leg. Now on your inhale, square the hips, look between your hands and catch your lunge. Pivot your back heel to the floor and take the whole inhale to rise. Virabhadrasana 2. That's it. See that the left knee and the left toes are pointing straight ahead. And as you walk your right foot back an inch or two, get longer in your stance. And now look away from the floor as you reach out through the arms. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale and bend into that front thigh as you grow taller through the top of your head. The legs stay steady. On your inhale, reach just the arms up. Bend your left elbow, pat yourself on the back, and let the right fingertips grab onto the left elbow. How tall can you get? Elbow to the ceiling. Press your head back to lift your chin. But then notice if the belly and ribs move forward. Can you slide the ribs back while you press your head back? Take a full breath in. Stay for the exhale and bend one more inch into that front thigh. And now on your inhale, release those arms to a T. Press the left leg straight. Can you get long through the fingertips? Trikonasana, left hand to your block or to the floor on the outside of that left leg. Now here, from the outside in, it seems like there's not much movement, but internally there's this constant ebb and flow. So with each inhale, the legs pull in towards each other, and you feel the energy run up from the ground into the hips. And now as you push your feet down and apart, like you could rip your own mat in half, press down into the left hand, reach up through the right hand, and lean back against yourself. Big breath in. Stay for your exhale. And then on your inhale, unwind. Lower your hands to the earth, bend your left knee, and step it all the way back to downward facing dog. One more time together. On your inhale, come forward to plank pose. As you exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest on your forehead or on one of your cheeks. Close your eyes for a moment and listen for the sound of your breath. We started a while ago lying on our backs, so you could feel that boundary of the floor beneath you. And here, as you lay on your belly, can you feel your breath expand into all of those points touching the floor? Notice the more you breathe into your belly, how much more the back of your body can expand. The more you breathe into your belly and chest, that's the lower and upper back broaden, touching the air above you. And I will stay down on the ground for a moment longer and come into locust pose. So stay with your legs long behind you, reach your arms alongside of you, and flip your palms down to face the floor. Before we fully lift up, feel your legs back in space, and they don't have to touch, but hug them in towards each other. They'll clear space in the low back. Shrug your shoulders to the ears, hug the shoulder blades together, and as you inhale, lift your head, lift your heart, lift your arms up off the earth, and exhale to let the legs float up and away from the ground. As you lift up, try to soften or close your eyes and really listen for the sound of your breath, that ocean-like quality of your breath. With each inhale, can you hug your inner thighs towards each other? Think inseams of your pants up towards the ceiling. And now hug the shoulder blades together. Lift your palms a centimeter more. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, release, lower down. Rest on the other palm or on your other cheek. Soften or close your eyes. And really listen for the full depth of your breath. There's an entire universe that's within you, constantly in motion, constantly moving. And that churning of the universe, the churning of the ocean itself, reveals so much more than we realize. So as you lay here against the earth, take one more breath, take notice of what you feel, and exhale to let all of that breath go. And now bring your hands to either side of your chest, tuck your toes under, and press yourself up through to tabletop. Come up to your hands and your knees. Have your blocks framing out the top of your mat. You might use them as we move about. And we'll make our way to downward facing dog as you lift your hips to the sky. Now from your down dog, float the right leg up and back. One more time, bend the right knee and open up through the hip as you foot high five your friend to the left. Push through the left palm, lift your left shoulder away from the ground, lift your left armpit off the earth, and then stay right here. If you want to play with some asymmetry, you might tent up onto just your right fingertips. As you tack the left hip back, let your left heel get heavy, take a big breath in, and now lower the right palm to the earth as you square the hips and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand for lizard lunge. Woo! Come up onto your fingertips or high up on blocks with your hands on the inside of your right leg. And now look down at your body for a moment. Say hi to that back left thigh. As you look at your left leg, can you lift your left heel higher up off the floor? Lift your back left thigh high to the sky. And as you lift the belly and ribs towards the ceiling, start to reach your chest forward, your heart forward. You can stay right here. Or you might walk your hands a handprint or a few handprints forward of your shoulders as if your hands are in downward facing dog. And if your hands are going forward or under your shoulders, really push your palms down and forward to lift your hips up and back towards the wall behind you. As your hips lift high, take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale, and you might let the right thigh get heavier to the earth while the back left thigh stays lifting to the sky. Good. On your next inhale, walk your hands back under your shoulders and then gently lower the left knee down onto the floor or a blanket. We'll come in for a thigh stretch. Keep your left hand on the ground or on a block, right palm to your right thigh. And like we did in that first twist, turn your belly open to the right. Now hug your back knee forward, bend your left knee, lift your left toes up off the floor. You might be here, you might reach the right arm towards the back of the room. You might hold the foot or lasso a strap around the foot itself. But can you shrug your right shoulder up and back, slide the ears back as you take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale, let the belly turn to the right as you bend into the right knee and thigh, let it get heavier. And now on your inhale, release the hold of your leg. Plant your palms, peel yourself back to downward facing dog, and take your time as you find your way there. Pedal the heels, notice what you feel. Second side, lift the left leg up and back. Bend the knee and open up through the hip. Now notice if that right side of your body dips to the earth. Can you push through the right hand, lift your right shoulder up, tack your right hip back, stay here, or you might tent up onto just your left fingertips. As you push through your palms, lift your hips higher. Let the right heel get heavier to the ground. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, lower the left hand, square your hips, and step it through to lizard, left foot to the outside of the hand. That's it, hands on blocks or fingertips. But as you look down at yourself, if that helped, lift that back thigh higher up off the earth. And the higher you lift your back thigh, lift the ribs and belly. Now start to reach your chest forward towards the front of the room. There's so much to do here. I invite you to stay here and breathe. Or only if it feels appropriate, you might walk your hands forward of your shoulders on the floor or on blocks. But really use your hands. Can you push your palms down and forward to lift your hips up and back towards the wall behind you? And now as you keep that right thigh lifted, take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale and let the left leg get heavier to the floor. Bend into that left thigh. Good. Now walk your hands back under your shoulders. Lower the right knee down onto any padding that you need. We come in for the twist. Right hand stays down as your left palm comes to your left thigh. From the belly button, turn open to the left. And now hug your right knee forward, lift your right toes up off the earth. Take breaths here, or maybe your left hand reaches around to hold on to the right foot. Shrug the shoulder blades together as you slide the ears back. Take a full breath in. Stay for the exhale. You might bend into the left thigh as your belly turns itself open to the left. Wait for the inhale to release the hold of your leg. Plant your palms, take it all the way back to downward facing dog, and notice any difference that you feel from side to side. Now from your down dog, walk your feet to come as wide as your mat. Tiny bend in your knees, and one palm at a time, walk your hands back to meet your feet so you fold somewhere at the back of your mat. Let the knees be soft. Your hands might touch the floor or blocks or even grab opposite elbows. But just see what gravity can do as you bow in towards yourself. A longer breath in and a deeper breath out. And after a few breaths, climb your hands to your hips, stand through your legs, and a big inhale to come all the way to rise as you release your hands. Warm? Great. Method, purpose to warmth. We're going to cool ourselves down in a moment, but before we come into the 4 rounds of pigeon I have on deck for us, I'd love to get a shoulder stretch in. So if you want to grab a strap, you can grab a strap. I like to use one because it gives my chest extra space. You can also interlace your fingers at your low back. But bring your feet nice and wide. Bring your hands to your low back. And now hug your shoulder blades together as you lift your chest. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, tiny bend in your knees, hinge at your hips, and reach your arms overhead towards the sky. Now for some, myself included, when my arms go overhead, my elbows tend to lock. Can you find a tiny bend in your elbows, a tiny bend in your knees, And now create some resistance. Try to tug your strap or tug your fingers apart and bring the shoulder blades closer towards each other on your upper back. Take a full breath in. Stay for your exhale. Maybe your arms reach overhead towards the wall in front of you. And then on your next inhale, release your hands down to your tush. Ditch your strap. One palm at a time, walk your hands back forward to the top of your mat. And we'll meet again in downward facing dog as you lift your hips to the sky. From your down dog, float the right leg up and back. Step your right foot through to pigeon or to lizard lunge. So if pigeon for any reason doesn't feel good on the right knee or on the right hip, you can come into that lizard lunge variation we did not so long ago. But for those that are in pigeon, let your right knee be really wide as the right side of your mat. So shimmy it all the way over to the right. This will help us find some steadiness. Now, once the right knee comes wide, come up onto your fingertips or blocks and look over that back left shoulder. See what your left leg is doing. Mine's always off to the left. You might walk your left foot and your left knee more to the middle of your mat so it's in line with your hip. And now as you look back forward, feel the back knee down. Hug the back knee forward to quite literally lift yourself up off the ground. And as you hug the knee forward, bend your back knee to lift the back toes up off the earth. So much to do here. Feel free to stay and breathe. Or the more you hug the back knee forward, your left hand might get lighter to reach around for the left foot. As you draw the heel towards your tush, slide those bottom ribs back. And now I'm going to add a little more on. Keep hugging the left knee forward. The more you hug the left knee forward, the lighter the right hand might get. Maybe it comes to your thigh. Maybe it comes to your heart. Maybe the right arm reaches up to the sky. And for mer person pose, you might bend your right elbow, give yourself a pat on the back. Maybe your left hand threads behind the left foot. Maybe the fingertips catch each other at the back of your head. But wherever you are, press your head back. Slide the ribs back. Take a full breath in. Stay for the exhale. And then on your inhale, release the hold of your leg. Plant your palms and peel yourself back. Oi, to downward facing dog. Okay, I threw that one in on you. Just spaghetti at the wall. How'd that go? It looked good. I heard you breathing. Questions before we go to the second side? No? One tip, actually, you can lower your knees to the floor and sit back on your heels, sip some water, shake it out. Keyshawn, who was in class yesterday, asked a great question that was like, when I hug the back knee forward, I got to do this side. When I hug the back knee forward, this knee sometimes lifts up off the floor, it gets unstable. So a few things that help is that if it felt wobbly, it might just feel wobbly. It's a wobbly place to be, balancing on a few points of contact with the earth. But the wider this front knee goes off to the side, the more surface area you have to work with. Like if the knees are in line, then it starts to tip over quite quickly. So as you bring the knee over to the side, the more you hug your knees in, the more steadiness and stability you'll start to feel. There's so many versions of pigeon pose. We're going to take one more later with a twist. And when I first started practicing at Three Queens, there was like something distinctive about the Three Queens pigeon where I did not understand what it meant to pull up in pigeon. Did anyone feel that way? Okay. Because pigeon, historically, when I was taught it, I was like, I'm on the hip, I'm leaning down, I feel something, great, and now I'm going to find my way back up. But the idea is you're literally churning the metaphorical ocean. There's this constant push and pull and tug of war that's happening between the legs so that you create space. So what it looks like is, it's not big movements, but it's each inhale, the knees are pulling in together. And then into that, you don't have to stay up this high, but into that, then you walk the back knee back without letting the hips dip to the earth. So it's each inhale, you're drawing energy into yourself, and then keeping that, then you extend outwards in different directions. So that when it comes time to bend, to move your upper body in different directions, you have steadiness from where you can extend out from. Does that help to see? Okay, Me talking, I said this yesterday in class too, me talking like this is also giving you a second to catch your breath and distract us that we have to do a second side. So there is method to the chatter madness, but let's do the second side. So I'll talk you through it. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Take a breath or two as you arrive, and just feel gravity underneath you. Now lift the left leg up and back. Left leg through to pigeon or lizard lunge. It can be different or the same depending on what you're working with. And now as best as you can, if you're in pigeon, walk your left knee all the way over to the left side of your mat. It might even come off of your mat, depending. Peek over the right shoulder. See that the right leg is in line with your hip. And now as you come up onto your fingertips or blocks, feel that metaphorical churn. With each inhale, you hug the right knee forward to quite literally lift yourself up off the earth. And then into that, maybe you walk the right knee back towards the wall behind you. Stay here breathing, or you might bend your back knee and lift your right toes up off the floor. With your left hand on a block or on the ground, your right hand can start to reach for the right foot, pigeon with a thigh stretch. Hug the right knee forward. Slide the ribs back and see if you can look away from the ground. The more you hug the right knee forward, completely optional, that left fingers might get lighter. Maybe they're just lighter on the floor or blocks. Maybe they come up to your left thigh, maybe to your heart, maybe up to the sky. If the left arm's to the sky, bend your left elbow, pat yourself on the back, press your head back, and then maybe your right hand slides to the inside of your right foot as you bend your elbows to give them a catch. Take one more breath in, stay for the exhale, and then inhale to release, arm and leg to the earth. Take your time to peel yourself back to downward facing dog as you lift your hips up to the sky. Whew. Pedal the heels, notice what you feel. And now on your inhale, your choice, stay here breathing. You can lower your knees to the ground and take a few breaths close to gravity. You can also let your breath take you through one of those linking vinyasas we've done together already. But wherever you go, staying still or moving, can it be an offering to your breath, a longer breath in and a deeper breath out through every direction of you. From your down dog, when you find your way there, we'll all meet in tabletop. You can lower your knees down onto the earth. And now in your table, walk your legs as close as you can bring them together. Thighs, knees, feet to touch. Tuck all 10 of your toes under. And for thunderbolt pose, Vajrasana, begin to sit your tush onto your heels to feel this in the arches of your feet. This might be more than enough sensation. If you want to alleviate some pressure in the feet, you might bring a block between your butt and your heels. You can also just stand on your knees, keeping your toes tucked under. But wherever you are, reach your arms straight ahead towards the front of the room, interlace your fingers, flip your palms towards the front of your mat. Shrug your shoulders to the ears, plug the shoulder blades together. Take a big breath in as you sweep the arms up to the sky. Now notice if the pinkies lift higher than the index like mine always do. Can you reach the index knuckles as high to the sky as you can? And now slide the ribs back as you press your head back. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale and grow 1 inch taller through the palms to the sky. Inhale to release the hands down by your sides. Come back to table, shake out your feet, roll out your ankles, take a breath. Now up to you. You can do the toes tucked under again, or for something different, you might point your feet. And sometimes at the very last second, the calves get in the way and the heels turn out. Try to squeeze your inner heels towards each other as you sit onto your heels. And again, maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe it's standing. But as you reach your arms forward, take that awkward thumb or pinky on top. Flip your palms to the front of the room. Shoulders to ears, plug the shoulder blades together and sweep those arms up to the sky. Slide those bottom ribs back. Press the head back. And as you take a big breath in, down, and wide, stay for your exhale. Can you reach your index knuckles up towards the sky? Now inhale to release the arms out to a T. Come back to all fours. Have your blocks again close by. And now one last pigeon before we come to lie down. Take it back to downward facing dog. Hips lift up and back. Pedal the heels. Notice what you feel. On your next inhale, lift the right leg up and back. One last time, pigeon or lizard lunge. So as you make your way towards pigeon or lizard, come high up onto your fingertips or high up on blocks. You're more than welcome to stay here the entire time, keeping your chest nice and tall. Or to add a little twist, one palm at a time, begin to walk your hands to the left corner of your mat. Good. As you walk your hands over to the left, push your palms down and forward and think like your right tush could anchor to the earth. It won't come anywhere near, but feel the right hip get heavier. There's plenty to do here breathing. Or maybe you might lower your palms to the floor. You might bend your right elbow and bring it to the left side of your mat. Maybe you're on a block. Maybe you're on the ground. Maybe you come to the arch of your right foot. And as you keep your right fingertips pointing to the sky, stay here or stack palm on top of palm to turn your belly and chest open to the left. With each inhale, can your chest grow longer to the front of your mat? With each exhale from your belly, turn yourself open to the left. Whew. Inhale to unwind. Lower the left palm, lower the right hand. We alive? It's touch and go for me coming out of that one, so make your way back to downward facing dog, hips to the sky. There was no other requests. I told you we're doing hips. So we're here. We got one more to do, and then we back bend and therapy ball our way down. Any questions about that one? Do the other side so we're not too uneven. Lift the left leg up. Pigeon or lizard lunge, and know that there's variations that you can be in. Now, pro tip, the more you walk your left knee to the left, the more space you'll find in the twist. Start by walking your hands forward of your shoulders as you lift up through the heart. And then completely optional, you might walk your hands one palm at a time over to the right corner of your mat. Now as you push down and forward through your right hands, think left tush towards the left side of your mat. Stay right here breathing. You might lower down onto your forearms or blocks. Or you might bend your left elbow and bring it to the right corner of your mat. Maybe it comes to the arch or the sole of your left foot. Perhaps your right hand stays down or as your palms stack on top of each other. With each inhale, get long through the spine, think chest forward. And each exhale, let the belly revolve open to the right. Take one more breath in. Stay for the exhale. Can you gently slide the ears back so your head is over your heart? And now inhale to release the right palm to the earth. Lower your left hand. Call yourself back down to the ground. And let's meet in the last downward facing dog of class. Pedal the heels and notice what you feel and see. Now from your down dog, lower both knees to the floor. Come to flip over onto your back so that your heads are up towards me. Your feet are to the wall behind you. Have your block, one of your blocks within a grabbable distance, and have your therapy balls close by as well. If you need any of those things, feel free to call me over, and I can bring them over to you. But just place them off to the side as you bend your knees and bring both feet onto the ground. Now winch feet as wide as your mat, and knock your knees into one another, and just let the weight of your legs be supported by the other. Your hands can rest on you, alongside of you, or overhead, but take a full breath in through the nose and a longer breath out through the nose or mouth. We'll find our way towards 2 rounds of backward bends. You're more than welcome to take both of those rounds in supported bridge, a block under your hips. Or you might make your way into bridge pose where we'll all begin. So once you bring your feet on the ground, bend your knees. Bend your elbows alongside of you and point your fingertips to the ceiling. Shrug your shoulders to your ears. Wiggle the shoulder blades towards each other. And as you push down through your feet, lift your hips high to the sky. Wiggle the shoulder blades towards each other to lift the back of your heart up. Stay right here. You might bring a block underneath your hips. Your hands can stay pointing up to the sky, or you might let your arms come alongside of you, grab opposite edges of your mat, and tug your mat apart to bring the shoulder blades closer together. But wherever you are, take one more big breath in. Stay for the exhale as you push through your feet. Lift your hips 1 more inch to the sky. Now release the hold of your arms. Lower your tush back to the earth. Either knock your knees into each other or windshield wiper your knees from side to side to clear space in the low back. Let the belly be full and soft. Let the back of your head soften to the earth. And notice any difference you're working with from one hip to the other. Now as we come in for the second round, your choice. You can do exactly what you just did, bridge pose. You might slide a block underneath your tush for supported bridge, or Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow, is one more choice. But for all of those, start with your knees bent, feet on the ground. Bend your elbows and fingertips to the sky as you wiggle your shoulder blades together. Now push down through your feet, lift your hips up to the sky. Wiggle the shoulder blades together to lift the back of your heart. Stay right here. Maybe you bring a block under your tush and take a few breaths. Or for upward facing bow, bring your palms by your ears. Hands are as wide as your mat. Push through your legs to come up to the top of your head first. And then maybe you push so much through your legs that you straighten your arms up to it and lift up off the earth. Take full, deep breaths in, long, steady exhales out. And being mindful of how you come out when you're ready, slowly lower your upper back, your hips, all the way to the earth. Either windshield wiper your knees from side to side or knock your knees into one another to clear space in the low back. Can you move with the steadiness of your breath, taking a longer breath in and a deeper breath out. Now the next time your knees come back through center, cross your left thigh over your right thigh, scooch your hips to the left, and let your knees drop over to the right for a supine twist. Stay here. If there's any pulling on the low back, you can always uncross your legs and stack your thighs one on top of the other. But as you let the back of your head get heavier to the earth, can you listen for your breath? On your next inhale, uncross your legs. Draw your knees and feet back through center. Cross your right thigh over your left thigh. Scooch your hips to the right just so you stay on your sticky mat, and let your knees drop over to the left. Can the back of your head and shoulders soften to the ground? And think less, how deep of a twist can I be in, but how much can my upper back really settle to the earth? On your next inhale, uncross and unwind your legs as you draw your feet and knees through center. And now give both legs a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest. You might make some small circles. We've done so much asymmetrical work, one leg and then the other. Just see what it feels like to hold both legs simultaneously as you take a longer breath in. And on your exhale, let the legs release to the earth. Now I'll talk us through some therapy ball work in the upper back. But if there's any other region that you know that your body prefers, please feel free to take this time to work at your own pace. You can also set up early for rest. We'll meet you there very, very soon. But if you're working those therapy balls in the upper back, you can keep them in their tote or take them out. But lift your head and shoulders up off the ground and pop them right in between your shoulder blades to either side of your spine. Once you find them in some spot at the top of your shoulder blades, no wrong place for them to be, you can let your head come down onto the earth. Or you might bring your head up onto a block to alleviate some pressure. Let your arms fall anywhere they fall as you take a full breath in through the nose and open your mouth to let all of that breath go. can stay exactly as you are. Or if you'd like to find a few more places in the upper back, with your knees bent, feet on the floor, press through your feet just enough to roll your body towards your head, towards the top of your mat, until those therapy balls come down your back to the middle of the shoulder blades, slightly lower than where they just were. You can bring your head and tush back down onto the earth or up onto a block as you listen for the full depth of your breath. A deep breath in through the nose, and even open your mouth to let all of that breath go. Your arms can stay heavy, exactly as they are. Or you might explore some gentle movement as you reach your arms straight up to the sky. They might move like seaweed in water in one or the other direction. You might also reach one arm overhead while the other arm reaches to the sky and vice versa. But let it all be an offering to your breath itself, a slower breath in and a longer breath out. Now, after a few breaths, when you've gone evenly from one side to the other, lower your arms to either side of you in one more place. Press through your feet to roll your body another few inches north until those therapy balls come down to the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, the very back of your heart. Once you find this third new place, as your head and tush gets heavy onto any support, take a full breath in and open your mouth to let all of that breath go. Stay right here, or you might reach your arms up to the sky and give yourself a hug as if your hands could reach for the tennis balls behind your back. But let the palms and fingers be soft. You might lean a little from side to side or stay still. If you have one elbow wrapped on top of the other, maybe you switch which elbow is on top to notice any difference. And when the time comes, slowly begin to unravel your arms. And we'll make the exit journey the same way we entered. You can release any blocks from underneath you and start to move your hips towards your heels so you roll towards the back of your mat. You can also roll over onto one side and push the therapy balls out of the way. But however they find their way out, let them fully exit as you drape your upper back onto the earth. Can you take a breath for a moment into what you don't see with your eyes, but you can very clearly feel? And the next place we'll meet is we'll make our way towards rest. So give yourself a moment or two to take anything that you need. You might add or remove any layers or props. Perhaps you let your hair down or let your glasses set safely off to the side. But if there's anything you can do for yourself to become even 1% more comfortable than you are already, please do feel free to take this time to find it. I'll talk you through a few rounds of pranayama, of some breath work to prepare the body for rest and to slow and steady yourself down. You're more than welcome to just listen, but I really invite you to follow along at your pace. You want this between your legs, Manny, and then you can hold it too, like hug it. Yeah. As you close your eyes, can you listen for the full, steady cadence of your breath? I'll talk you through this equal part breath called samavriti. It's a breath used to steady yourself down, to ground yourself back to the earth, and to feel the full cadence of your breath. Start by taking a breath in through the nose to fill yourself up, and exhale through your nose or mouth to let all of that breath go. Now with your lips closed, picture your next inhale in 4 separate counts. First, fill the belly, the lungs, and then up into the heart. Pause for a moment at the top and exhale for those same long 4 counts: heart, lungs, and belly. Hold at the bottom and begin again. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Now adding a few counts, follow your pace. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. 3 more rounds. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Last round. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Without any holds or counts, take a breath to fill your belly, your heart, your throat, the crown of your head. And as you exhale to let all of that breath go, let yourself get heavier into the earth. It's here, each round of breath slowly dissolves the practice that was. Each breath helps you arrive to where you are now. And each breath that comes after makes a little bit more space for what has yet to come. Can you let every round of your breath let you become heavier into the earth? And the heavier you let yourself become, the more spacious and lighter you may just start to feel. Begin to deepen your breath. Take a longer breath in and a deeper breath out. Take another breath in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, offer all of that breath out. Begin to let your breath awaken not just the body that you're in, but the very spirit that you are, with any gentle movement that just feels sweet to you. You might roll your wrists or ankles in one or the other direction. Perhaps you tip your head from one side to the other, heavy against the earth. Or just watching for any props or neighbors around you. You might reach your arms away from your legs or draw your knees in towards your chest. But when the time comes, we'll all meet with the knees bent, arms overhead, as you roll over to any side of your choice to curl into yourself. You can take a breath or two here in the place where it all began. And as you push down into the ground, come up to rise to a tall seat, the way we started. With your eyes softly closed or softly open, can you once again listen for your breath? Take a deep breath in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, offer the breath up and out through every direction of you. Our time together will finish with one more of those breaths. You can place your hands to center anywhere that feels for you. As you take a deep breath in, to let it all go. You might bow your head to your hands or lift your hands to your head in such a simple yet sincere gesture of self-reverence, bowing to your efforts, your attention, and those around you who practiced right alongside with you. And with all of my heart, I bow to each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Drink lots of water. Take good care of yourselves and each other. Happy Halloween for those that are celebrating, if you see any good costumes. There's so much amazing stuff happening at the studio outside of classes, so if you have time to check out the workshops, the events, it's all on the socials, all online. But I think that's it. I have nothing. Anyone else have announcements? Thank you. Any things that you're doing, you're going to, you want to share about? Sharon? Yes?
Do you dress up for Halloween?
No, I am a creepy, lurky witch in my house. I turn all the lights off. I've removed my doorbell. I lock the door. And I watch from my third floor with my dog, like watching Gilmore Girls. I did it I mean that in the most affectionate way. I love seeing them. I can't. But I love to know what's happening, so I like to watch. Do you dress up?
No.
Yeah.
But I want to see, the house in the neighborhood, the Delaney house. I want to apparently
No.
kids go to it. It's on like second or third and Delaney.
Oh.
There's like a flying cat.
Oh. I do like walking around like now and seeing the decorations. 13th Street today had a bunch of great ones. Yeah, like it's so crazy.
That's where we live near there, so we go there. It's just like the guy who owns Victor, I think the guy who owns Victor Cafe.
Oh.
He has this like basement window, and there's always like something creepy happening down there. And
Oh my God.
like I don't know, maybe it's his wife or something is like wearing this like maid's outfit, and she goes, she's like dusting in the front.
No. Yeah, see, I can't do that. I can only see soft things because I already get spooked too easily.
My daughter like finally goes last year.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
It is amazing like how much effort they
yeah,
put into things, but yeah, it is scary.
I know. Nuts. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
It was
you.
good.
We did a pet costume